Canadian Entertainment Podcast. It's a Canadian Entertainment Podcast. It's a Canadian Entertainment Podcast. It's a Canadian Entertainment Podcast, hosted by Ben Stagger.
You all good? Okay, well, to say I'm intimidated would be an understatement. We are officially back with the Canadian Entertainment Podcast, just figuring out the framing here. This is most likely the biggest guest we've had on the show so far. Busy schedule. No other words to describe it, but his name, itself, Portuguese Yoshi, is on the show tonight. Everybody, give it up for Portuguese Yoshi.
Yoshi.
Now, for those watching the video version of this, and you'll catch on audio version, something is apparent and shocked me the first time I met this guy sitting right next to me. But so you are a lot shorter than most people would think. Sort of like meeting Tom Cruise for the first time. How was that growing up? Were you bullied for your height? Because I was very short as a child too, and it affected me in so many different ways, self-confidence issues, ways that are still most likely affecting me now. How did it affect you, and is it still affecting you currently? Sorry to start the interview like that with such a weird question, but I think people were just thinking it. What's your take? Okay. Oh, I see.
Yoshi.
Yep. That makes sense. Yeah. I felt the same way too, honestly. I get what you're saying. Like, you just have to tune it out and just put the blinders on, smaller blinders than most, and just go about your day and time, just like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs did. They were still the heroes of the story, but were they shorter than most? Yes. Did they let it bother them? No. I agree with you so much right now. Wow. I think you're the first guest that's shorter than me, and I'm more intimidated than any other the guests I've had before, and I think that says a lot about how far we've come as short people like you and me. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yoshi. Yoshi.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You don't think you don't think in terms of agree or disagree. You just think in terms of what's best for Portuguese Yoshi. I see. I get it. You're looking out for number one, and we'll get into your childhood and stuff like that, but I imagine it could be related to that. I also just want to address something for the video people, and sorry, and the audio people as well. If you are interested in video, it always seems to be available, either the day of or a couple days after on YouTube.com, under Ben Stagger YouTube channel. We were thinking about getting a Canadian Entertainment Podcast YouTube channel, but we decided to go with the Ben Stagger brand anyways, and he has it underneath his under the podcast tab but it shows up in videos as well. But anyways, so for the video and now the audio listeners, we're getting you guys involved too. You're probably noticing something. Well, you're noticing you're not hearing us talk over each other, but for the video people, you are seeing that Portuguese Yoshi does not have a microphone. That is because we went to multiple Long and McQuaid's within the past week, and none of them, and I repeat, none of them had a mic short enough and small enough for Portuguese Yoshi. And I think that's terrifying. I think that's disrespectful on levels that might not even exist on Earth, like universally disrespectful. And I think it's tragic. I think it's kind of Hamletonian. I don't know even, but I'm so sorry. Long and McQuaid, you seriously have to work on this, because we have freaking Portuguese Yoshi here, a Canadian Portuguese icon. And we'll get into where but really? Okay, anyways, you're good for other stuff, but get some smaller mics. And maybe this is Shure's fault. Shure, the microphone brand. But sorry, I'm just yapping a lot. But it just really ticked me off, and it ticked him off too. He almost pulled out, but I told him I drew up a plan for him. I had a PDF. I printed it off, and I said, "Look, this is what we have to do. I know you have a busy schedule, but would we be able to do this?" And he said, "Well, what did you say?"
Yoshi.
Yep, exactly. Exactamundo. Now, I honestly, if there was a way to agree with you more, I would. But right now, where we are as humans, I don't know if that's humanly possible. But anyways, so you have to tell me about this. So I was reading up on you a bit, and allegedly you came into existence in 2008. So what's it like? Is that Gen Alpha or is that Gen Z? Enlighten me.
Yoshi. Yoshi.
Okay, so you consider yourself Gen PY, Gen Portuguese Yoshi. Oh, that makes so much sense to me. You know what? I want to consider myself Veneration, whatever. The whole ageism thing in the Canadian entertainment industry, we can't reveal it. So I would like to consider myself Veneration, whatever. But then I'd be stealing your thing, and you'd probably kick my arse or something like that. Anyways, wow, that is really. You're onto something, friend. You are onto something, and don't let anyone tell you different. Now, also for the video listeners, but I'll let you audio guys in on a little bit. I am in a very relaxed position right now, just getting down to Portuguese Yoshi's level. As I said before, Portuguese Yoshi is shorter than most people imagined. He's got the Tom Cruise effect where it's like, okay, this guy's short, but he's one of the biggest daredevils I've ever witnessed in my life, and he's in full control of his religious beliefs. So what was it like growing up Portuguese Yoshi Catholic? Was that the dumb was it Mario Nintendo Portuguese Catholic? Yoshi Catholic? What was that like? Oh, but the Trinity is still a thing.
Yoshi.
Oh, no way.
Yoshi.
Yep. Thought so. I really thought so, and you just confirmed what I thought. Well, that's cool. So you're pretty religious, and I think that's, that's becoming, maybe it was not accepted a couple of years ago, but it's becoming accepted again because, you got to think, yes, where do we come from? So I get where you're coming from, buddy. Now, I know here we call it soccer, but perhaps in Portugal or they call it football. Now, when did you get it? But we have CFL, Canadian Football League, so I don't want to get... So do you mind if I call it soccer for the rest of the interview? What you play and the Team Portugal jersey and all that?
Yoshi.
Okay. No need to get angry with me, but I see where you're coming from. So you played on Team Portugal in the most recent World Cup?
Yoshi.
Oh, I see. And you low-key killed it, right? I was going to say, I knew you before I met you, and that was because I saw you on a big-ass freaking, the biggest screen I've ever seen. I was in a department store, and it was during World Cup time, and I was just looking at the department store's TV, and I was like, that player on the screen right now, he resonates with me. I hope to meet him someday. And we really met, and I guess we're kind of roommates now, right? What's that like, being a roommate with a guy that hosts a podcast about the Canadian entertainment industry? Oh. Really? Now that makes sense. I was wondering though, so me and you have a bit of a funny backstory, right? Like we only really met, I guess, like a month and a half ago, but so much has like gone on. Like I feel like like you were already pretty successful before with like being on Team Portugal, being in multiple World Cups, multiple Olympics and stuff. But I kind of found you in a rough place. Like I found you in a pile of leaves, right? But since I took you home and you become my roommate now, you've kind of had an overnight success story. Because once again, you were on the team, like you were on Team Portugal, but like it's safe to say, I mean this with any disrespect, you're bigger now than you've ever been, right? Exactly. So that's a lot to throw because it almost felt meteoric, right? Because once again, we look at stars like Chappelle Roan and stuff like that, and she had a very fast success story, right? But yours was almost quicker than hers. She had about like, she was still selling out shows and stuff, but in smaller venues, right? But then but she's opening up for Olivia Rodrigo and stuff like that. But then she catapulted. It was an exponential growth that almost like curved a different way. Like it wasn't even. It was going insane, right? But your rise to fame and success has almost been quicker than Chappelle Roan. So how are you dealing with that? Oh, mindfulness. Oh, Portuguese Yoshi mindfulness. You have a book about Portuguese Yoshi mindfulness activities? Could you tell us more about that? I will buy the book, and I know you'd be giving up. But dude, with the brand deals you've been getting, you can't just tell us a couple things. Okay, you are the perfect businessman. you don't want to give away for free what you've worked your whole life on. And you're tough, but I respect you more than you'd ever know. Now, that is just, you are such a rock star and just a generally good guy. So if I was wearing a hat, I would say hats off to you. Now, I know this is such a lame question and it's just like free, if I was, so do you ever wear hats? Like I've seen you hang out with Mario, Wario, Waluigi, the Portuguese versions of all, and typically they wear hats. Sometimes not, but a lot of times they do. Now, do you ever wear hats? Do you ever go to Lids? I think that might be a Canadian hat store. I don't know if it's international, but perhaps it is. Just for the international viewers, do you go to Tilly Hat store? Like, do you ever wear a hat? And what's your favorite kind? Oh, Team Portugal, fitted cap size, 1/2 inch. Oh my gosh. I used to be the exact same head size of you, but I had a massive growth spurt in my, I think it was my early 20s. That's all you're getting in terms of age. Long-time listeners, I can't tell you anymore. Just, we've touched upon this so many times. Okay. So, we've touched upon a lot of things. Did you have a good childhood, Portuguese Yoshi? What? Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. Oh, so what you're saying is, so I know, like, I played the Mario video game, so I know that Yoshi, like, the Yoshis, some of your relatives, you come in these little eggs, and what you're saying is that your parents were both, their eggs, the egg was cracked, and someone made a Portuguese Yoshi mom and dad omelet. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry about this. I should have not brought that up. Can you forgive me? Thanks, man. I'm sorry. Okay. No, but okay, so this is starting to make, see, we're roommates, right? And he never has told me that. And I don't know why I thought I'd ask it I'd save a lot of questions for this podcast because I knew we were going to do it someday. But I feel terrible asking about that. Oh, sorry. Okay. I just need to be composed, right? Lots of interviewers have messed up in their time. I think of when Tom Cruise has freaked out at a couple people. And sometimes people asked him, so I get Tom Cruise, he's a polarizing figure, but there's been a few times where some reporter once squirt water on him. There's a video I've seen and he got really upset. So that is kind of my equivalent. And you know what though? Portuguese, he didn't call me a jerk like Tom Cruise called the reporter. I know that was a jerkish question, but I'm sorry. Okay, can you forgive me? Oh, and did I ask already? Dude, I'm sorry. I keep on tripping up right now. Okay. Let's just deep breath and just let's go for it. Okay, so it's Advent right now, and as a Portuguese Yoshi Catholic, you're halfway through Advent right now, so you most likely lit it goes purple, pink, purple, right? In terms of the candles you light around the wreath, right? Is that the same in the Portuguese Catholic? Now, is it Portuguese Catholic Orthodox or Portuguese Yoshi Catholic regular. Can you... Okay, so you have some Yoshis from Portugal represent you at the Vatican then, right? Yeah, there's some Portuguese Yoshi cardinals. You hear it here first. Now, would you think that we will ever see a, like, who knows, Pope Francis, he's pretty old, right? And he's in his 80s or so. Do you think we'll ever see a day where we see a Portuguese Yoshi Pope? Yeah, I do agree. A lot needs to change in this in the Catholic system. So you think that a Portuguese Yoshi Pope would be the one to do that? And while we're on the topic, with everything going on in New Jersey right now, with the UAPs we've seen, do you think that if there was a Portuguese Yoshi Pope, they would release the UAP files that the Catholic Church has been holding on to for the past, since Adam and Eve? Oh, Adam and Yoshi. I get it now. Now, okay, do you have any favorite holiday movies that you watch? You're leaning a bit over. Is everything okay? You kind of remind me of have you ever seen the music video for Smooth Criminal, where Michael Jackson, he leans over in a dance move? You're kind of, were you in that music video? Okay. Interesting. Okay, before you fall, I'm sorry. Was that weird? Sorry, I just want to, it seemed like you're having some trouble. I don't know if, sorry for the audio listeners, Portuguese Yoshi was falling down and I just adjusted him. We're roommates and he's going to the chiropractor recently. I'm sorry, I could be telling you, sorry, and his voice box is hurting a bit, so he's allowed me to say some, he doesn't like talking about his chiropractor stuff, but he said I could talk on it a bit on behalf of him. So he's going to the chiropractor recently, and he doesn't want to talk about it on camera or on podcasts, but he said I could talk about it. Sorry, it's just, I laugh when I'm nervous typically. So I had to help him. I had to just like help him readjust, and his feet are being held down by duct tape right now, but that's because he has his lucky pair of sneakers on and they don't have perfect traction. He wore them in both of the World Cups he's been in and the 5 Olympics he's been in, where he got multiple gold medals, some silver, some bronze, which he ate, but whatever. And he's actually given me one to eat before, I think it was Rio, and it was amazing, gluten-free. And anyways, I put it in a gluten-free sandwich, the Anthony Bourdain sandwich, instead of using pieces of, because the Anthony Bourdain sandwich, if you look it on YouTube, it calls for multiple pieces of baguette sandwich, and unfortunately there aren't too many gluten-free baguettes, so I used 2 Portuguese Yoshi's bronze medals from the Rio Olympics and what was that other place? Was it Atlanta? You were what? Oh, that was Portuguese Yoshi Senior's bronze medal. Oh, and he passed them down. Oh, after the omelet. Oh, sorry. Okay. Anyways. Okay. So, yeah. So I use that instead of, because there's no gluten-free bread. That is, no, there is gluten-free bread, but there's no gluten-free baguettes that are easily to find. So, so that was a part of the Anthony Bourdain sandwich that I always had a bit of difficulty with. So I used 2 of the bronze medals, and it tasted so good. Some of these bronze medals from these Olympics that him and his family have participated in, they actually taste better than a lot of the gluten-free breads on the market right now. So gluten-free bread companies, let's work on that yesterday. But if not yesterday, today. Try today. Okay. So, wow. All right. Well, okay. So we've gone on a lot of different tangents. We've gone here and there. My question to you is, are you ready for the big man in red to show up on the 25th of December? Do you have all your Christmas shopping done yet? Oh, so okay, so you've been you cashed in on a lot of Cyber Monday deals. Oh, now when you were so you did a lot of Cyber Monday stuff. Did the Canada Post strike affect you at all? Okay. Yeah, no, I know. I was just wondering. You were just having a conversation, so no, I was just wondering. Okay, cool. So, okay. So, of course, you're known for your time on Team Portugal. Okay, and for the record, international viewers, there was a Canada Post strike, or there is a Canada Post strike going on right now. And yeah, so there's a strike right now because they're bargaining, they're at the table right now with the corporation. And I'm actually a former Canada Post employee. If you want I actually did work there for about 6 to 7 months. No cap. I think I want to say 2017. This was after my time being when I went back to Kitchener-Waterloo to become a plumber. This was after that. I actually worked for 6 to 7 months as a fill-in letter carrier. So I've been there, and yeah, it is a very hard job. Well, I mean, all jobs are hard, but it is really it does hurt your body. So, and honestly, yeah, I like when they put. I've had stuff. I like Canada Post's service is what I'm trying to say. So thank you very much, Canada Post, and yeah, I brought that up, and thank you, Canada Postal workers. We love you, Canada Postal workers. I really do. And I'm a former one of you guys, and thank you for your service. Okay. So yes, we talked about the Canada Post strike. Just wanted to tell the world and talk about that for a bit. Okay. So Portuguese Yoshi, I'm sorry I've been talking so much, but you do have a cold right now, correct? And you said if I ever just want to just like say a couple things, I could, right?
Yoshi!
Yeah, exactly. See, no, I'm not. Sorry, I'm getting so defensive. It's like, what? Why do I get so defensive sometimes? What does that say about me? I have been trying to meditate again recently. I think I'm like 5 or 6 days back. I do find it's been calming me down a bit, but I'm like, I still want to be more chilled out, not as defensive, more streamlined thinking, less distracted, more focused, and maybe eliminate the want, right? The Lord is thy shepherd, thou shalt not.
Yoshi!
Exactly. So is there ever Have you ever encountered? So I know sometimes like Mario has ridden Yoshi's like a horse. Does that imply that there's ever shepherds for Yoshis? I see. So in the Portuguese Yoshi Bible, instead of lambs, it's Yoshis. Oh. Anyways, okay. No, we're just yeah. Hey, I get it. Okay. So yeah, I've been trying to meditate. I'm just, you know, I'm just trying. I just want to be able to meditate and be able to. I've been like doing some research on TikTok about like remote viewing or some other thing, gateway unlocking, where I heard that if you put two different headphones in your ears, each playing like different frequencies, you can well, I'm laughing. If you do that, you can meditate and talk to entities who will tell you what to do with your career. It's kind of like, yeah. I saw some instructions on TikTok, so I got to figure that out. I've just been doing some mantra meditation, or my take on transcendental meditation, because I kind of read up about it a little bit, and I'm doing my own little take on it, and I hope it's working. I do want to do transcendental meditation, but it just costs a lot of money, and unfortunately they don't take Canadian Tire money. Oh. But one day I maybe I'll try it out. But yeah, I have been looking at like gateway unlocking or whatever, but I'm kind of scared to do it because you have these two different frequencies in your ear, and um and then allegedly you talk to entities. And know what I heard? So you can either have these two different frequencies in your ear while you're meditating, and then you could talk to the entities, or you could just you can actually just in noise canceling headphones, if you can just listen to the Hockey Night in Canada theme song, and then you could talk to the entities too, and they are essentially they essentially are Don Cherry and what's that person's name again? And Richard Harris, who played Dumbledore in the and he was in another movie I watched recently, but I forget what it was called. So essentially, that if you do that gateway unlocking, but you listen to the Hockey Night in Canada theme song with noise canceling, so you talk to entities, but it's essentially Don Cherry and Richard Harris who played the original Dumbledore in the first couple of Harry Potter movies. Yeah, have you tried that before, Portuguese Yoshi? Okay. Now, okay, sorry, I've been talking a lot about me for a sec. I know this is about you. I just wanted to ask you, so if you don't want to answer this question, that's fine. But growing up, did you get bullied at all?
Yoshi!
Oh, did I already ask this question? Whoa! You might not be able to see it on camera, but you know how Yoshi somehow is able to have fireballs come out of his mouth? He almost did that. Or it might not appear on camera, just like, but whoa. Okay, I'm sorry. You're getting annoyed at me, but I get it, right? I get annoyed at me sometimes too. I'm trying not to, but I hope when I remote view and I talk to the entities, then I'll get less annoyed at myself when I find out what I'm supposed to do with my career. Because I heard that if careers doesn't end in high school, you can do it in an art portal. I hope that saying all this doesn't get me in trouble with the entities. I hope everyone has a sense. I'm not saying this is terribly funny, but I'm just saying I hope everyone has a sense of humor. I'm just having fun. Like, lots of people have fun. I'm sorry I'm being so defensive. Anyways, yeah. So okay, this is what we gotta talk about. So back to you, Portuguese Yoshi. So your resurgence in sort of notoriety and what has really made you skyrocket in all sorts of popularity recently is the song Portuguese Yoshi, which I composed with the help of course, Kim Mitchell, formerly of Max Webster. Now, for the original song that the music of Portuguese Yoshi is by, it is from a song called Patio Lanterns by, yes, Kim Mitchell. And the original lyrics were by someone named Pi Dubois, Kim Mitchell's lyricist. But I implanted my own lyrics into Kim Mitchell's music. And that's what I thought the lyrics to that song should have been, even though I do like the Patio Lantern. But this is just, I wanted a chance at being a lyricist for Kim Mitchell, and I was so inspired by meeting Portuguese Yoshi after I was raking leaves in Canada. I found Portuguese Yoshi while I was raking leaves on a street, and that's how we sort of met, and now he's my roommate. He's very busy. So that was my take on Patio Lanterns, essentially, which I wanted a chance to be able to, and you gotta check out Kim Mitchell if you don't know about him, because he might only be like super big in Canada, but this Patio Lantern song is good. It's great. It's one of the best. But then I was so inspired by meeting this one. He has the number 4 on his back for Team Portugal, Portuguese Yoshi, that I took that music and I was like, well, let's make this about you, Portuguese Yoshi. And then that's just how that sort of went down, essentially. So how has this affected you? And do you even like the song? You wish that that it was a go for a soda. That it was to the tune of go for a soda, but you can tolerate this. I get it. Lots of people. I thought maybe you're a Max Webster guy, which was Kim Mitchell's band before going solo. Sort of like how John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, George Harrison, for the international viewers, they were in a popular band, then they went solo and they had immense success. Sort of like the exact same thing with Kim Mitchell. Gotcha. Okay. Now, so the Portuguese, it's brought some new life into Patio Lanterns, which was it is such an amazing song. We cannot deny that. But I am very nervous to reach out to Kim, because I would hope that he'd be honored, I hope that he'd be honored by the song. But I also wonder if he I don't know. You never know. People could be precious with music. I get it, right? So, but I think I might just need to be brave and say, hey, Kim. Because my goal is ultimately to be able to sing that song at the 2025 Junos with Kim Mitchell. So no matter what happens, I got to reach out to him. But I think my ultimate plan is I, you know, how things align in life sometimes. So I was looking it up, and allegedly Kim Mitchell is going to be playing a concert with David Wilcox, and we'll get into him in a few moments from now. We have a big lot to talk about David Wilcox. And they're playing a show at the Center in the Square in Kitchener-Waterloo, one of Kitchener-Waterloo's greatest venues of all time, on February 7th. So maybe that is the time where I go, and maybe there's a possibility I could get backstage and talk to Kim Mitchell and show him Portuguese Yoshi. Maybe Portuguese Yoshi, using the Team Portugal connections, could get me backstage, and we could talk to Kim and say, hi, okay, we put a different spin on Pi Dubois' lyrics, but your music, and it honors this guy right here, Portuguese Yoshi, one of the greatest soccer players and Portuguese Mario characters of all time. What do you think? I think that's the best way to do it, because sometimes, say if I just were to message Kim Mitchell on Instagram, context gets lost over text. So I think the best way to do it is for me to go Center in the Square, February 7th, and just make the first move backstage and say, Kim, what do you think about Portuguese Yoshi? And just go from there. Yeah, I think that's it. And if it doesn't work that night, then we go to Fallsview Casino, where he's playing at the OLG stage. We try that. And if it doesn't work then we see where he's playing next, and we try again. Sometimes it's third time's the charm. That's just the way this world works sometimes. So yeah. But yeah, he's playing Kim, co-writer on Portuguese Yoshi. He is playing Center in the Square, one of the greatest venues of all time in Canada. So I saw Stuart McLean, God rest his soul, a couple times there. Saw Alice Cooper once. Yeah, I think I don't know what else. I saw Les Miserables, Resurrection High School, or Catholic. They put it on a play there. Saw 42nd Street, Catholic high schools. They put on a play there. So I've seen some stuff there, and I would love to see Kim Mitchell and David Wilcox rock that freaking stage. Now, David Wilcox, after looking up Kim Mitchell and seeing that he was playing Center in the Square, I was like, we gotta check out David Wilcox. And David Wilcox has a famous song in Canada or internationally called Do the Bearcat. And it just essentially says, do the Bearcat. And it's very cool. Sorry, something crazy just happened. The audio cut out for 1 second. But we are so figuring it out. Did that freak you out? Portuguese Yoshi?
Yoshi!
Okay. So as we were saying, David Wilcox is playing the Center in the Square with the co-writer of Portuguese Yoshi, Kim Mitchell. Center in the Square essentially being the Carnegie Hall of Kitchener-Waterloo. Maybe the Colosseum of Rome. And maybe even, that big freaky opera house in Sydney? Essentially that, but for Kitchener-Waterloo. So they're playing the Center in the Square. It is my destiny to go there. So I look up David Wilcox, and I see what he has to offer. Amazing song called Do the Bearcat. And he has a number of other amazing songs that I was like, what the heck? This guy has some amazing songs. How come he's not world news right now? Well, I don't know. But I was listening to a song by his called Bad Apple. And it's something, the Bad Apple. I was like, this is amazing. And I was like, wait a second. Did David Wilcox rip off the vocal melody from Bad Apple for Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks? And how could I think that when I look at when the song Bad Apple was written, and it was written and released in about 78, and when was Friends in Low Places released? I think late 80s, early 90s. So, Garth Brooks, you got some explaining to do, because David Wilcox, he came up with the vocal melody for Low Places. A lot of people think, include Portuguese Yoshi pointed this out to me, and there's a reason your music is on Spotify, because you're afraid that David Wilcox is going to listen to Low Places and be like, what the frick? This is pissing me off. This is my song. Even though you do have a live version of Friends in Low Places live in Germany. I shite you not. You have live in Germany. Friends in Low Places. But brother, you ripped that off David Wilcox a little bit, would you not say? Anyways, then that made me think, oh my gosh, is the whole world ripping off David Wilcox? And I listened to another song called Riverboat Fantasy, which is maybe his top biggest song on Spotify. And I swear it's like, I was like, oh my gosh, did the Eagles rip off David why is everyone conspiring against David Wilcox? Why is everyone conspiring? I was like, did the Eagles rip him off and take it easy? But turns out Riverboat Fantasy was written after Take It Easy. So maybe that was him saying, okay, Garth Brooks ripped me off. Well, I'm going to rip the freaking Eagles off, but do it in a tasteful manner. Which I think he did. So, yeah, David Wilcox, Kim Mitchell. We can pull a big guest and we can have a great conversation, right? This is one of our biggest guests on the show of all time, Portuguese Yoshi. So, what do you say, guys? Could you come on down and we could talk it all out and jam the Portuguese Yoshi song? Okay. Portuguese Yoshi, we doing okay? Okay, good to know. He did agree to he has a lot. We're recording this on a Friday night and he's got a lot of stuff to do. He's a couple of autograph signings. He's teaching a meditation while he's a Portuguese Yoshi mindfulness class Saturday morning. And he also has one of his kids, he sees him on weekends, so he's got to go pick up his kid from the airport. So there's a lot going on for Portuguese Yoshi right now. So this might not be as big of other episodes that we have, but since we're living together right now, I'm sure we'll hear him back. We'll have him back soon. But it's the holidays right now, and this is a little bit of a holiday episode, and my feet are up. We're relaxing. Portuguese Yoshi's just getting over sickness. And I gotta say, there's no one I'd rather spend the holidays with than you, Portuguese Yoshi. You truly are the GOAT. Or should I say the Yoshi? The yes. Okay. I see how awesome. Yes, okay. Oh, okay. I messed that up a bit. It's yes, okay. So, how? It's awesome. That's what Yoshi stands for. I finally got it. Yes, okay. So, how? It's awesome. So, how? It's awesome. Yes, okay. So how? And the answer is to both those questions, it's awesome. And that's you, Portuguese Yoshi. You know, I think we're so evolved past greatest of all time, GOAT. Like, it's like everyone knows what that is. Humans get smarter every year. So I think we're at a point where it's like we can be like, you the Yoshi. Yes, okay. So how? It's awesome. Or I awesome. I don't we'll talk about that, eh? What do you think about that?
Yoshi!
Yes, you can get a cut of. You are so business minded, but I love it. We have to have a talk off camera because I really need to get better at business things. But yeah, in terms of the Canadian entertainment industry, have a massive show at the Royal Theatre next Friday with the Buskers, me, Veronica Slowakowska, Sam Burns's music troupe that we've performed with for a number of years, and we're excited to deck the halls and have a lot of fun with y'all. so come on out to that. You know, we're just chipping away here. You know, just thinking about 2025. Lots of plans for the group Polarity Strikes. And sorry, my hands are literally just in between my legs, just so you know. I don't know how this looks on camera, but that's just so you know. But so yeah, we're looking forward to 2025. We're planning out Hilarity Strikes, of course, by Sketch Troupe with Sam Birds, Nathan Hare. We have a lot in the works that we want to talk about. We're thinking about a 3-course dinner show, 3 courses of dinner, 4.5 hours of sketch comedy conversations, SNL rankings, etc., etc. We're thinking about that in the new year, so that might be something massive. I have been. I'm excited for the new year. I have some ideas in my head of things I want to say on stage, so I'm excited to flesh that out, talking to a microphone. I've been writing a bunch of songs I've been trying to that I really want to record next year, so more piano, but they're fun, I think. I don't know, I'm trying to make them fun, you know. But anyways, you know, you gotta do it for the love of it. That's just what it is, you know. And thank you, Canadian entertainment podcast fans, for supporting this podcast, supporting the journey in the Canadian entertainment industry field. You guys are some of the realest out there, and dare I say, you are the Yoshis. And what does Yoshi stand for? Yes, okay. So, how? It's awesome. Oh my god, I was saying Yoshia this whole time. Okay, sorry. I don't know why I was putting an A at the end of Yoshi, but I am finally caught on to that. So, this is different than the GOAT because it's like, it's a lot more complicated, so we have to think about this one more time. I don't know why I'm having a hard time visualizing, that word. But it's, yes, okay, so, how? Or what if it's, yes, only super handy yes, okay, how? Yes, okay, so how? iRobot. Yes, okay, so how? iRobot. Starring Will Smith. Or yes, okay, so how? It E I Yes, okay, so how? Interesting. Yes, okay, so how? I don't know. Yes, okay, so how? Yearly, no, maybe this is it. So, the greatest of all time means goat, and Yoshi means yes, okay, super, handy. In individual. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. Super handy individual. That's what Yoshi stands for. Yes. Why? Okay. Super handy individual. You just saw some. Yes. So the greatest of all time has nothing on. Yes. Okay. Super handy. The super handy individual. And I think you are super handy. And that is what that means. You just saw some mind math in real time. And that, well, in Canada, we have all these commercials where it like shows a dramatization of a Canadian invention like Winnie the Pooh or basketball or Laura Secord, who ice cream. Anyways, I hope one day we'll have a Canadian heritage moment when we figured out what when we're like we're done with people saying that guy's the GOAT. We want to say that guy's Yoshi, sort of like because of our guest Portuguese Yoshi, and they will have to recreate that moment where we had the revelation that it is yes, okay, super handy individual. So yeah, what do you think about that? Yep, I knew you were going to say that, but that's just because we've become very interconnected and very just spiritually aligned and just agree on so many things. I want to thank you again for coming on this thing. You know, you truly have inspired a generation. You've inspired the world, and I want to thank you for all the positivity and happiness you've brought to all four corners of this earth and and the universe. I'm sure even if we live in a holographic universe, I'm sure they've heard about you there. And I think that is inspiring. You inspire me every day. You're always up to something new. You spread positivity. You spread joy. You spread just encouragement. And just you spread strength, and you spread happiness, and you just really have inspired a lot of people. I don't know if you know how many people you've inspired in this world, but you have seriously inspired a lot of people, Portuguese Yoshi. And I know you're very humble, and maybe you don't want to hear all this. Maybe I'm, over complimenting you, but it's the end of the interview, so I feel like this is fair. So thank you very much, Portuguese Yoshi, for everything you've given to this world, to Canadian entertainment, to me. You've made me a better person. You made me more kind, more thoughtful, more giving, more gracious, less reactive, less annoyed, less irritable. You have really changed my life in so many ultimate ways that you will be yeah, you're in the will, buddy. You're freaking in the will. I don't know. You had such a positive impact on me at the end of the year. You came in my life at the perfect time, and I can't thank you enough, Portuguese Yoshi, for, it's the holiday season. It's so busy right now, and for you to just sit down for an hour, just talk shop, just like kick back, just chill out. I know you're not feeling the best right now. This is just so inspiring, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and some. You inspire generations, you inspire the world, and you are just an absolute legend, and I can't thank you. There aren't words in the languages we know currently on earth that could say how inspiring you and what positive impact you've had on me and the world at large. So I just want you to know that there isn't a word invented yet for for the amount of positive impact you've had on a lot of people. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I guess I'll leave it with Portuguese Yoshi for the last word. What do you want to say? There you have it. Oh.
Yoshi.
Exactly. There you have it. This has been the Canadian Entertainment Podcast. I want to thank again my guest, Portuguese Yoshi, for coming on the show. This was truly a dream come true. So thank you very much. I'm so glad we could have a one-on-one together. And until next time, thank you very much, everybody. We'll talk to you very soon.